You know, the funny thing about this life is that it's always going to apply some type of pressure to you. It's always going to try to put you in toxic situations, around toxic individuals, and around people who don't see the light inside of you and that are selfish, narcissistic, and barbaric, and just people that just don't understand what true divinity and spiritual growth and development really is. And you're in a whole world of NPCs, of people that they think that they're right. They think that they know the truth. They think that their minds are elevated or more elevated than yours. But in reality, they're trapped with ignorance, arrogance, and other types of self-perpetude. Now, somebody wanted me to explain a little bit about the demiurge and the Gnostic text, and I'll just do a brief overview. Pretty much the reason why in this life, why we keep going through these negative experiences is not because it's just random. There's interdimensional beings, there's entities, you can call them devils, demons, or whatever, but I call them the Archons, and because that's what the Gnostic text says. And these beings, they feed off humanity's negative energetic manifestational frequency, meaning they feed off your negative energy. They feed off of jealousy. They feed off of hatred. They want you anxious. They want you scared. They want you, constantly going through things. They don't want you happy and at peace, because when you're happy and at peace, you have the girl you want, you have the money you want, you have everything you ever dreamed of, then you can focus on real spiritual growth and development. If you didn't have to worry about paying bills, if you didn't have to worry about a car note, the electric bill, the water bill, if you don't have to worry about things like that, then you can truly achieve greatness. And these beings, they need our negative essence in order for them to stay alive. Literally, they feed off negative human emotions. And the demiurge, or Yaldabaoth, he's the one that everybody looks up to. He's the one that was created by accident. He's an abomination created by the Aeon Sophia. Now, what is Sophia? Sophia comes from a different dimension called the Pleroma. And in the Pleroma, everything is perfect. That's the true, real heaven. And one day she decided to try to create a being on her own. See, in the Pleroma, there's a thing called Sithages. And Sithages is a male god and a female god, and they come together and they create. Well, Sophia tried to create by herself, which is against true divine law. So when she tried to create by herself, it spawned the demiurge, a monstrous being, a dragon-like being with a dragon-like body, a serpent tail, and the face of a lion. That's the demiurge. That's Yaldabaoth. And if you read, the Bible, it talks about how Satan got kicked out of heaven and he turned to a seven-headed dragon or whatever. That relates to the bloodline of the demiurge, because Lucifer, Jupiter, Satan, whatever you want to call him, Lucifuge, off a cow, he's not the only type of angelic being or archon being that is a dragon or has 7 heads. There's many different types of them. There's variations. They got people. There's angels and beings that got the face of birds, the face of humans, and different types of body parts like chimeras. These are spiritual evil beings, but humanity, is something that's totally different. See, when Sophia created Yaldabaoth, she fell. She fell down into the materialistic plane. And Yaldabaoth pretty much stole her light. And Sophia, trying to fight back, try to go back to her realm, she pretty much, told Yaldabaoth, and she pretty much kind of escaped Yaldabaoth and went back kind of to her realm, but not to her full position, and kind of told Yaldabaoth, you're not the one true God, because Yaldabaoth declared himself, I am the true God, I'm the only God. There's no other gods besides me, and I'm a jealous God and all that. And she showed him, an image, of a higher heaven, and it showed the image of man. Yaldabaoth seen that, he stole that image, and he created man out of the clay, out of the ground of the earth. But Sophia secretly put the light of divinity from her inside of us, and that's why we have the true divine light. Now, Yaldabaoth is powerful because he has true divinity inside him too, from Sophia's power. But Sophia gave us a pure power, a power when she was creating in the right mind. Because when she created Yaldabaoth, she kind of did it in a sense of like envy or jealousy, because she wanted to create her own thing. And that's why this God of the Bible or whatever says, I'm a jealous God, and a lot of people have that divine spark, that divine light. And the Archons are jealous because we have that. So they design systems of oppression in place to make our lives miserable, to make our lives horrible, to make sure we go through hell in this world. They don't want us to be happy. The world is not designed for you to be happy. It's a loose harvesting soul farm. It's not meant for you to be happy. That's why you keep going through these problems. You want to get that job you wanted. Boom, they denied you and said you can't get it. You want to get that girl you want. She doesn't like you. You want to be able to make music for a living. You can't do that because you got to worry about real life first, you don't have the right people around you. And you know there's other people who are not a threat, because not everybody has the divine spark. Because the demiurge created false souls, what we would call NPCs. These are the people that they're just created just to be in your life, to cause problem, to cause drama. They don't even know it half the time. You know, and some of them do, though. That's why you have your skull and bone societies and your Illuminatis and shit like that. They all have secret pacts with the demiurge. And they're designed to make our lives miserable. I know this sounds ridiculous, a lot of it, but you have to read and look into the Gnostic text. Just look at your life. I guarantee this week something bad's going to happen and keep happening. You're like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? There's energies around you that feed off your negative emotions. They don't want you at a high vibrational frequency. You see, these entities, they love low vibrational frequencies, because that's when they have the most power. They don't want you to be like, okay, I'm just going to ignore them. I'm going to try to live my life, and I love this, I love that. They don't want you to emulate love, peace, tranquility, and happiness, because when you do that, you kind of lose power from them. That's why they'll do something in your life to try to destroy you and try to break you down. Put people in your life that don't like you, people in your life that are toxic, or put you in situations where you don't want to be in. Or if you have a dream or aspiration that you really want to become, these beings will do everything in their power to make sure it never comes true. They'll put you in situations or put you around people that will do everything in their power to try to break you. These people can see your talent. They can see potential in you, but then they'll tell you, you need to go find a job, go do this, go do that, But the minute you make it in what you want to make it in, then these people will shut their fucking mouths. But they'll still try their best to try to feel better than you. But you got to understand, these people were put in your life by the Archons. The demiurge has false spirits. That's why most people don't see what we see. They don't see what life really, really is. They don't understand about how looks play everything. Your skin color configuration determines how people judge you. If you have darker skin, you're gonna get treated bad in this world. That's just how it is. People are just gonna not like you for no apparent reason, because that's how the world is. Because they want us fighting. Look at all these wars. Notice how there's constant war. People who got EBT or something like that, they get attacked. There's always racial tensions. There's always financial tensions. There's always shit going on to make humans not come along. And anytime you get people coming together, the demiurge will break it. Look at the Tower of Babel. Remember the Bible story of the Tower of Babel? When the people got together finally, they built the tower that was supposed to reach the heavens. God got mad, or the demiurge got mad, and then broke that up. So that way the people can't come together. Now, why would a good, loving, and caring God wouldn't want people working together? The quote-unquote reach the heavens. And then that demiurge says something in the Bible which was interesting. He said, if man can do this, and if they put their mind together, then there's nothing that is going to stop them from doing whatever they want. See, a lot of people got spiritual powers that are hidden, because they calcify your pineal gland with fluoride. They do all of these manipulations and psychological dominations against you. It's all to destroy your spirit and to destroy the divine spark you have in your heart. And that's pretty much just a brief overview. That's not, there's a lot of details I left out. There's a lot of, that's just me just kind of freestyling it from what I remember, So it could be stuff I left out and stuff, but for those who know the Gnostic text, that's pretty much just a verification and analyzation of it. But like I said in my last video, man, this life is a battlefield. It's a war zone, It's not meant for you to enjoy it, honestly. It's meant for you to go through things in this world. You ever feel like the pain you go through is customized just for you? And you hear everybody else going through the same thing? And if you guys work jobs or whatever right now, you hear people at the job, I can't wait till Friday. Or when I get off work, I'm exhausted. Right now, I've been watching Japanese vlogs with Japanese salarymen and stuff. They talk about how they work in 15, 16-hour days, and then they have to go out with their bosses and have drinks and stuff. If not, it's not official, but it's kind of unofficial. If you don't, you get in trouble at your job. It's absolutely brutal that people are forced to work for money. It may sound like you're crazy. That's how you know who's an NPC and who's not, because people who have divine light will understand that true divinity is infinite. We shouldn't have to fight for resources, fight for houses, fight for food, go to these jobs that we don't really want to go to, because these jobs are soul crushing and they make your soul exhausted. Most people who have the divine spark, we want to work at jobs or do things that help our soul, give us spiritual growth and development, create things that innovate and help people, not go to a job where in 10 years or 5 years, AI is going to replace it. You have to work these jobs because they have to keep your mind focused on the physical realm. That's part of the demiurge and the Archons' plans. They want you focusing on money, but not focusing on the spiritual divinity of life. Life is not about being a wage slave, but because the demiurge made a distorted reality in different galaxies and different realms. Notice this. There's different realms and realities than ours. This is something that the Central Intelligence Agency knows, but they don't tell the public. It's classified information. There's secret bases where even the president can't even get into because his clearance is not high enough, in case you didn't know that, which most people don't, you know. But think about it. We live in a world where there's limited resources, so they say, but plants can grow indefinitely with the right soil. Yet they don't teach people at an early age how to grow your own fruits, your own vegetables, and how to manage them. They don't teach financial literacy. They want you to become an adult and to be ignorant about how the money and the monetary system really works. They tell you that go to school, go to college, get a degree, and then work for a corporation for 40, 50 years and be a wage slave. That's what feeds the demiurge. Because when you get to that job, you're going to deal with coworkers who are assholes. You're going to deal with bosses who are assholes, who are little mini tyrants. You're going to deal with depression, waking up every day, doing the same shit, waking up, putting gas in your car, doing the same shit. It's a routine to suck out your loose energy, your spiritual energy, because true divinity knows that something is wrong. This is not how life's supposed to be. I should be able to think whatever I want and it appears before me. Just like how the God of this world did, the demiurge, just like how Sophia did when she created him. Just like how the Paloma is, how the monad, and how all that's connected and intercepted. We are divine beings trapped in a physical body by an evil, vicious, tyrannical God. And you can see it. What God creates death and put that above us? What God makes us get weaker as we age, but this God gets stronger and stronger as he ages? And he traps us in this soul loose harvesting farm, being reincarnated, sent to hell, and being annihilated and dominated and trapped in this emotional thing. And then you got to understand, when you pass away, you will be shown a heaven, but it's not the real heaven. It's an artificial fake. Yeah, it may look beautiful. It may look like the real heaven. It may be good music playing. And you may think in your mind, this is heaven. That's really God. I don't know what you're talking about. But you don't understand that's the demiurge. You see, the demiurge caught a glimpse of that eternal realm through his mother Sophia, the Pistis Sophia. He caught a glimpse of it. So he pretty much copies what he's seen, but it's not the same thing. That's why in this world you can have divine, beautiful things. Like if you go to a place like Sweden, Sweden is one of the most beautiful places on earth. But then you'll see an eagle come out of nowhere and snatch a rabbit and rip its brains out. And it's like, what the hell? How is there beauty with evil and destruction and corruption? Because this is a world not created by a true, pure, loving being. Think about it this way. What being who has infinite power is going to say, I'm a jealous God? I'm jealous. Jealousy is insecurity, which means you're not totally confident, which means you know something else. And then this God says, you will worship no other gods before me, which is an admission of guilt. No other gods. You just admitted that there's other type of gods, Now, some people may find this video just fantasy and all that. Fine, you can find it for whatever. But look into your life. You're going to go through something today, tomorrow, next week that's going to make you pissed off. And you're going to get angry, you're going to get mad, you're going to get sad and depressed. But little do you know, there's invisible entities that are around you that are feeding off that. They're making situations happen. And you don't even know it because they don't want you to know it. And people like me who wake up and other people, we get targeted. Why do you think these last months I've been going through, hell, this last year, ever since I started waking up, really, I started to realize, hold up, this can't be the real God because I'm talented, I'm gifted, but yet I'm never around the right people who can see my talent and we can build something, we can build like a multi-million-dollar empire together. How come I'm never around right people with the right financial or the right financial and mental fortitude to get things done, to make something? Everybody around me is just a 9-to-5er. Just go get a job and work a 9-to-5 and struggle like me. What if I want to build a multi-million-dollar empire? What if I want to make my books, novels, anime, music, have my own publishing company when it comes to novels or novellettas, sign other people underneath me? What if I want to have a YouTube channel that's successful? What if I want to have, a gaming channel, a cooking channel, which is what I'm, eventually going to go into as well? What if I want to have different types of incomes, But people who can't see that, or they don't want you to see that, they try to destroy you. But remember, the demiurge puts people in your life to take away your ability to think that you can actually be separate from the suppressive system. So I made this video because somebody told me they want me to speak more about the demiurge and all that. So this video is for you. I didn't go into real excruciating detail because I know most people are not going to really understand it because this is deep knowledge that is not for everybody. Wisdom knows her children, and she knows her children not being judged on the materialistic world, meaning, oh, you know this, that, this, but you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have that, and you're poor, and you're this, you're that. That's not true wisdom, brother. You're in that. You're thinking of the world. Remember, even in the Bible, it says, if you're a friend of the world, you're an enemy to God. And it wasn't talking about the demiurge. I think that was Christ who said that. You know, so don't listen to what I say, man. You look into the Gnostic text yourself, because the Gnostics were pretty popular. They used to be a form of Christianity before, the Roman Empire and its insanity of war and bloodshed and all the wickedness it done with its destructive, corruptive forces. Because remember, the Roman Empire, it was an empire that went and enslaved other empires. That's what people don't understand. Rome itself was built by a lot of servant manual labor. You think those Roman senators are out there building the blocks and building all those? No, man. They got skill. It's just like Genghis Khan when he conquered different places, and he got skilled laborers from different places and made him build up his empire in certain sections and sectors. Anyway, just know this: all the bad things you're going through in life is planned. It's all planned. None of this is random. It may seem random because the Archons don't want you to know. They don't want you to realize that, hey, I'm being loose energy farmed. They don't want you to realize that. They want you to keep living your life as they keep attacking you silently, but violently, consistently, and persistently until you drown in your own misery.